Hello, welcome back to Voluminum. This is episode 40. Now, I'm here at the old cobblestone farm, if you even recognize this thing from so long ago. Getting a bunch of cobblestone collected because I need observers, pistons, more pistons, some droppers. I'm building up a Bedrock Breaker, and I need a lot of resources for that. But I was sitting here just AFKing at this thing. I just got done crafting up a bunch of the materials I need over there. And I don't ever record or document me like doing material collecting or crafting for that matter. And I mean, it kind of makes sense, at first thought, like, okay, why should I record me collecting on these materials, just sitting here waiting for items to be got, or AFKing at my witch farm to get redstone like I have been doing the past night. Or crafting a ton of pistons. That's also what I've been doing. So, but I think I'm going to start documenting some of this stuff because I always end up spending so much time in my world doing this sort of thing, waiting on materials and then crafting them up, and that's a really long process. It might not be the most entertaining or important thing to be included in the episode, but I think it's got its value. So I'll think I'll include some of this stuff more often. Shouldn't the rain put out these campfires? That would make sense, right? And yes, I do have to stand here and grab a bunch of this because the 3 double speed box loaders that I have under here are not fast enough for this cobblestone farm. So there are some boxes being filled up, packed, and then sent over to the old, oh, my frames. No. To the old bulk sorter here. Way down here. And then I'm also packing up a bunch here. And this is a lot of cobblestone, but I need all of it. So I'm seriously considering setting up some sort of auto crafter station so I don't have to keep crafting observers like this, grabbing materials from here and there, different parts of the storage. It'd be nice to have one centralized location to craft a mass of observers or pistons or comparators, repeaters, and all that stuff. There are contraptions like that that have been posted in the TMC that can help with that sort of thing. It'd be really nice and handy to have. So I may not be totally done with main storage upgrades for the time being. Okay, let's move on to what all those resources and materials were for. This is an egg dropper updated version to work in 1.16 by Voiding. And I believe this was based on Zyyor's 1.12 version of a Dragon Egg Bedrock Breaker. Now, if you don't know, I do have the carpet feature enabled so I can use dragon eggs to break bedrock in 1.16. So, if you remember the episode I talked about my perimeters, this is my new nether perimeter. I'm digging. And the shape here is exactly over the entire perimeter. I asked in that video what you guys think, if I should break all the bedrock above or just above where the farm's going to be, and I think most of you said it would look much better to just break all the bedrock above the perimeter, which I agree with. I just knew that it was going to be a lot more work, so I was avoiding it, but I think it'll be better in the long run for sure. I think it'll be well worth the effort. So yeah, I want to make sure I give credit where it is due. This is Voiding his updated version of Zyyor's 2-way bedrock breaker. And this thing is great. The build-up of it wasn't really that bad. Placing all this netherrack was not fun. As you can see, I've got a replay recording going right now, so that'll, I think, turn out really good once it's done. You'll probably see that after this. So the premise is pretty clear. It's pretty like simple how it works, and I'll link to his video so you can watch that. But you sit way back there in a little machine that chugs along, pushes all of this along, and it just pushes and retracts the block to where the dragon egg will fall. And it's in a lazy chunk because you're sitting back there, so it falls down, breaks the bedrock. And Break from the Engineum server made this perfect shape for me and set it up properly for my perimeter, so big thanks to him as well for sending me the schematic of this. He actually set up the perimeter shape for me, so basically all I had to do was collect the resources and throw it together. I smell something. It smells like a time lapse.
When I'm lonely in the dark, I know you are with me, yeah. Don't you see that I need you so much? Don't you see that I love you so much? Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, darling, I need your love. Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, darling, I need your love. When I'm lonely in the dark, I know you are with me, yeah. Don't you see that I need you so much? Don't you see that I love you so much? Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, darling,
Now that is a satisfying view. Oh, this will be the last ever massive bedrock breaking in my world. At least for a long, long time. Doing these 5 layers was probably the most grindy and boring thing I've ever had to do in this world. Because the egg placing is bad enough, but then removing the eggs is probably worse. It takes so long to do that. And then once I got down to the last layer, they fell through, and then I had to clean them up, like all the little cracks that they fell through down here. And that took, probably as long as 2 layers of this did. So, oh my, yeah, that'll be probably the last time I do that. I'm just getting done tearing down the machine here that I used to break the bedrocks. And I'll link the videos and the channels that I mentioned that came up with this. But yeah, the bedrock is broken. But this is a pretty satisfying view, and I think it'll look really good once it's dug out and I get a decoration in here. So I've still got quite a bit more digging to do, and then we're out in the open sort of here. And there's much less to dig aside from the fortress until we get down lower, and then we've got lava to deal with. But I think I'll try and come up with some sweepers, or find some sweepers that I can use to easily clear out most of the lava. Moving on, I went over here and I moved all the portals that are above the base and the tree farms up to the same Y level, so it looks much better instead of them staggered. This is the auto return chunk loader for the crop farms, and this is the one for the items coming in through the tree farms and going dispensed into the storage. Now, I might come up with something different here because I'm afraid that if the other side isn't loaded above the base, if an item goes through, it might not have enough time to go through the system and be sorted before the chunk unloads. It'll probably load and be fine once I go and load it back, actually load it again. But I don't want to risk it, so I might, instead of this here, try and figure out a way to have items be spat through and go to the storage, but also have a chunk loader here. I might have to scoot this over a little bit or something. The area around the base is perma-loaded, as well as having items spit into the storage here, so there isn't any unloading errors. And then right over there is the drown farm portal, which, if you've been keeping up with the snapshots, they have made drown no longer drop gold, but instead drop copper. So I've got a decent copper farm now already for 117. Woo! So, in moving everything up here, instead of having to use rockets to fly up, I found a really cool Ender Pearl elevator by Fallen Breath, and I got it on layers right now, so I'm kind of building it up. I'll just turn it off of layers so I can show you really quick. This thing's really cool. You have to update a few things in the world download that he's got in the video description. I'll link this video, by the way, for his Ender Pearl elevator. These are glass blocks, and you got to change those out for honey blocks in order for things to align properly. But then it works fine. I tested it a bunch of times, and you throw the Ender Pearl, it gets aligned and then shot up vertically at 20 blocks per second with these slime block pushers, and it can go as high as you want it to. So I'm going to shoot it up all the way up here where I can just Ender Pearl and get up here to either go to the drown farm or whatever I need to do with these chunk loaders. Okay, I've got this thing built up. Should be properly built. We'll see. And I should end up hitting my head there and then falling right here somewhere on this little platform. Okay, test 1. You go in here, you get aligned, throw the pearl up. Okay. Oh, and I got an endermite. Nice. Take care of my lightweight wolf. Get him. Yeah.
A few minutes later.
I don't think I can feasibly put into words how frustrated I am right now. This is a test world, and I got done building this Ender Pearl elevator by Fallen Breath on the left here. I go down here to use it, and it doesn't work. I can get in here. The Ender Pearl just doesn't get triggered by the tripwire there. no matter what I do. I've replaced the boat 100 times. I've tried it in different directions. It will not trigger that tripwire and then send the redstone signal up to align it. And then, send the pearl on up there to the top. I tried it in different directions in this area here. Does not work. If I paste the schematic over here in a different chunk, it works fine. What? It doesn't work literally just in this chunk here. It will not work in this chunk. I've tried it. It is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I tried it in this direction, that direction, every direction. It will not work in that chunk. If I paste it right here, works fine. Works totally fine. But it won't work in this little area. It just will not work. But that's Minecraft inconsistency for you, I guess. Okay, getting back to the chunk loader above the base here, the center of the base, I think I've got it figured out. I actually just put in a chunk loader clock here, and instead of having a little clock for the items coming from the tree farms, I just got it going to this dropper here, and anything that comes in now should just be spat out. And I did test it while the chunk loader is going. In between the 16 game tick clock, the items should go through either way, and the minecart goes through on the clock, and the items will spit out into the item stream here. And all the while, this should all be loaded now. So now I've got to just rig up an on and off switch down there, so I don't have to come up here and turn it on and off. I could just press the button. All right, that should be the on and off switch. Let's see. So it should be on right now. Yep. And we'll put the redstone block back and should turn it off. All right, chunk loader on and off switch is done. The chunk loader is done. We should have a stable way to send items from the tree farms to the base now. And no sooner did I finish this chunk loader here that Kdender releases a new one. A brand new one that's supposed to not break upon saving and quitting or a server crash. So I'm actually going to leave this one how it is, because I think it works better using the minecart for this one. And if it breaks, I'll just come up here and fix it, because this one breaking isn't as annoying to fix as a mob switch one, because this isn't necessarily loading something important, and if it is, I'm normally in the area. So I'll leave this one how it is and upgrade the two mob switches over here, the overworld and nether mob switch. Okay. I got this built up over here by the nether mob switch. We got our withers packed over here. Oh, beautiful. So this is the new mob switch that Kdender uploaded today or yesterday. And this thing's great. So it's got a minecart underneath or a hopper minecart underneath instead of a minecart going through the portal, because in some cases, if the server would crash or you close the game, the minecart could get stuck between dimensions almost, and it wouldn't go through the other side, and then the other side wouldn't be loaded enough to send it back. The clock wouldn't be loaded enough to send it again. So this one should be foolproof, supposedly. So it actually just spits items. Let's turn it on really quick. And it'll just kick an item to the other side, and it'll send it right back. So it should see, there we go. I just put a couple stacks of rails in there for now. It doesn't matter what item you put in there, or how many. I think you want, over a stack or more at least. So as long as you got items in here, things should be good, because you don't want it to accidentally not send them back. But this should be unload proof. So gotta do the same over there for the overworld mob switch. All right, overworld side is also done. Let's go check it out. Might pick up a rail. Oh, actually the minecart hopper should pick it up quick enough. Oh dear God, yes, it's pretty loud. This is the overworld mob switch. Hello. Nice. So yeah, this is working fine. I don't see a reason this would stop working in 117, because I do plan on updating this world, obviously. And there are a few handful of farms that I want to have completed by the time 117 comes out, just to say I have them, because there's going to be a lot more blocks, a lot more things in the game, a lot more resources in the game to acquire and add to the storage to sort, and add to maybe some bulk slices. Block number 4 million. Boom. Block number 4 million. Woo. All right, here we are at the shrine. The blocks dug the shrine and the ore banks we have here in the overworld, let's go ahead and place down our 4 millionth block. 4 million. Alright, it's been added to the collection. Block number 4 million. So I know I've been kind of bouncing around a lot this episode, but there's one more, or I guess 3 more things that I want to build before I end the episode. Ta-da! This is nether quartz ore. This is kind of the best I could come up with. I know it's not that great, but it is a nether quartz ore bank. And I've given myself 4 double chests to fill up here. And the same wiring as before for these redstone lamps could probably be done better, but this is what I've got. So once these chests are all full, then all these lights will light up. But I'm not just adding nether quartz ore, I'm going to add another gold ore and a gilded blackstone gold ore as well. Okay, I'll admit this one is not my best. The gold ore isn't very like a detailed block. It's just kind of some gold blotches in there around the netherrack. So this is what I've come up with. If you have any suggestions, I'm all ears. Trying some things out. And I've got 4 double chests to fill up on this one as well. I think it looks okay. Definitely not something outstanding. But I think you can tell it's gilded blackstone. Maybe a little bit better with the gamma off. Yeah. It's a little bit easier to tell what it is. Gilded blackstone, quartz ore, and nether gold ore. Alright, we got our bank set up. For the gilded blackstone, I only gave myself 2 double chests because this stuff is kind of rare to find. But I did set up, actually a long time ago, this mining strip down here for... Oh, don't die. Woo! This is a mining strip for netherite, which I haven't got very much of, but I'm going to get some use out of this pretty soon. I need to get to changing all of my tools to netherite. So far I've only got picks, and that took all the netherite that I had, so I've got to upgrade the shovels at least. The axes I don't really need to, probably, because I don't even know why I still have this box in my ender chest. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.